Number 6, what is the diameter of a circle that has an area equal to 484 pi? So we're just going to choose the correct answer choice here, but you may have a fill-in-the-blank option on the GED test. So to begin, we need to write the area formula for area of a circle, which is A equals pi r squared. Now because we're given the area, we're going to plug that number in for area. So area is 484 pi, and that is equal to pi r squared. So we're going to solve this for r because we need to find the radius in order to get to the diameter. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. You can slowly start eliminating things. So now we have 484 equals r squared. Now in order to find what r is, or the radius, not r squared, I need to take the square root here. And so I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Algebra rule, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other side. So the square root of r squared equals r. The square root of the square root of 484 is 22. Can you find that on the calculator? And now to find the diameter, we simply multiply that number times 2. So the diameter equals 44. And these are formulas that will be on a formula chart for you to use. So just as a quick review, the radius is this distance here, half of the circle. The diameter is the entire distance, which is basically 2 radii. So our answer is going to be 44, which is C. Now on to number 7. Simplify the following expression. So we're going to break these up into pieces. We need to get a common root in order to add these. Just like combining like terms with x's. We'll talk about that more in just a second, but let's go ahead and simplify these as much as possible. Beginning with root 12, we're going to break that down into a perfect square if we can, because that's how you simplify, is by taking out perfect squares. Now what I mean about a perfect square is that 4 times 3 will give me 12, right? The square root of 4 is 2, a whole number answer. The square root of 3 is going to give me a decimal. So 4 is a perfect square, and these are the kind of numbers that I want to pull out. Numbers like 4, 9, 25. 4 is 2 times 2. 9 is 3 times 3. 25 is 5 times 5. So you get the idea. Anything that we can take a perfect square root of and not get a decimal answer. So the square root of 4, like we said, is 2. So that simplifies to 2. The square root of 3 cannot be further simplified, so this simplifies to 2 root 3. Now let's take a look at 3 root 27. So I'm going to do the same thing. I want to break down 27 into a perfect square if I can, which 4 can't come out, but 9 can. 9 times 3 equals 27. So this is rewritten. The square root of 27 is rewritten as the square root of 9 times the square root of 3. These equal the same thing. We're just simplifying. Don't forget to bring down your 3 over here. That's very important. It's just hanging out for now. So the square root of 9 is 3. So again, I'm going to bring down this 3 that's just hanging out. The square root of 9 is 3. And the square root of 3, again, just like this one, we can't simplify it any further, so we're going to leave it like that. Now, when we have a number outside, these are just being multiplied. Anything that's sitting next to each other implies multiplication. So this final term will equal 9 root 3. Then our final term is just root 3. So we now have a root 3 in common across the board. And what I meant earlier by combining like terms similar to x's, if these were x's, let's just take a little example really quick. 2x plus 9x plus, I'm going to call this 1x. If I was to add these up, I can combine these like terms because they're all like terms. They're all x's. So 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 1 is 12. This answer would be 12x. We're going to apply the same rule here. I have 2 root 3 plus 9 root 3 plus, I'm going to call this 1 root 3 since it's just a single root 3. Because these are all the same here, I can now combine them all and add them just like I did these x's in this little side example here. So 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 1 is 12. 12 root 3, and that cannot be further simplified again because the root 3 will give us a decimal answer. So this is my final answer, which will give me an answer of C for 7. Okay, number 8. On the GED test, this question could be a drop-down or closed type. So here we're just going to choose the lettered answer. The square root of 227, is it less than, equal to, or greater than 14.637? Right off the bat, this might seem a little difficult without a calculator. With a calculator, you could easily find the square root of this and evaluate it. But let's look at a more logical way to solve this. If I take a number I know the square root of, 225, that equals 15. So if I know that 225, the square root of 225 equals 15, then the square root of 227 has to be larger than 15. Just by a little bit, but it is larger. So that tells me it must be greater than 14, because 225 itself is greater than 14. So 227 would be implied that it is greater than 14.637. So our answer is, again, C. Moving on to number 9. Angle ABC is what kind of triangle? So we don't have any angle measures here. We only have 2x, 6x, and 4x. So what we need to do, given that we know there are 180 degrees inside any triangle, we're going to add these 3 angles up and set them equal to 180 degrees. Because I know altogether these 3 angles have to equal 180. So 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12, 12x equals 180. I'm going to divide by 12 in order to solve for x. X equals, so I'm going to do 180 divided by 12. And that equals 15. So x equals 15. Now we're not done yet, right? We're not looking for a degree answer. We're looking for the type of triangle this is. So we need to find each one of these angle measures and never assume anything based on the drawing. Always find exact values. Drawings are typically not drawn to scale, so you can never make assumptions when it comes to geometry. So let's evaluate each of these angles. The 2x angle, so I'm going to evaluate that. 2 times 15 equals 30 degrees. So this one here, I'm just going to rewrite 30 over it. The 6x angle, that's 6 times 15. 15 times 6 is 90. 90 degrees. So I'm going to rewrite this one as 90. And then 4x, 4 times 15 equals 60. So I'm going to write this one as 60. So what kind of triangle is this? Well, you evaluate the largest angle in the triangle. The largest angle is 90. 90 is a right triangle. If an